Hey everybody, how's it going today? Mike from the Focus Garage here, and today we're actually in the garage, and what we're going to be talking about is the Yamaha OEM Comfort Seat that we've got on the MT-09 here. We're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of the seat, and we're also going to be comparing it to the OEM seat that comes on the motorcycle. Once again, this is the OEM Yamaha branded comfort seat for the MT-09. Now, this seat will also fit FZ-09s, so anything on this chassis from 2014 all the way currently through 2019 now, and I believe even the 2020 models, this seat is going to fit. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to check out this seat. We'll give you some close-up shots of the build quality of it, show you what I think, go ahead and have a seat on it, show you some of the differences, and we'll go ahead and give you my honest thoughts and opinions. Now, we're going to give you kind of a once-over on the seat just to show you what it looks like up close, and then we'll compare it to the factory seat as well, just so you kind of get an idea of the differences here. So, we're going to show you what it looks like with this seat on right here, and we'll go ahead and pan around. So, up close here, you can see you've kind of got this fake suede look to it. Something that's really nice about it is that it is not suede, it is not Alcantara. It's still kind of that rubbery vinyl feeling. It's not going to swish back and forth the way suede would. Now a lot of people would be like, oh, that kind of sucks, it's not suede. Well, if suede gets wet, it gets ruined. So this I've actually been in pouring rain on, and there's no issues with it. So, plus right there, it looks like a nice premium material, but it still is very, very durable. It's not going to wear. I've had this seat on about 3,000 miles now, so I've really gotten to kind of test it, and I'll share my feedback on that in a minute here. Moving down by the tank, you've actually got a much, much thicker kind of inner thigh section where your legs will meet the tank. This is much needed, very much appreciated. And the overall slope of this seat is much different from stock. It's not as drastic sloping downwards into the tank. It's much more gradual, as you can see. We've got some white outline stitching here, which works on my bike because I've got, the white and the red going on with it. However, on some color schemes, I think that may not be the most visually pleasing look. So that is something that's the only way it comes. So either you like it or you don't. You got MT-09 inscripted right here on the back of the seat. Now, if you do have an earlier one, or where you're putting it on an FZ, I can understand where maybe you don't like that contrast there. Two different names on the motorcycle. The rear passenger area is much, much larger and thicker on this comfort seat than the stock one. So you can see here, here's the size of my hand. You got, I don't know, maybe about 2.5 hands width there. Still got the strap, just like the factory seat there. And then we'll just kind of go ahead and give you a back view. You've got that piping stitching going all the way around the back here. And then obviously a little comfort logo on the side here, just to let you know what you're working with. It's comfortable. Same thing, we got the stitching going down right here all the way down onto the sides of it. Now, something that I do want to point out right away with this seat is that it is tall. What do I mean by tall? I mean that it is almost an inch, or right around there, taller than the stock seat. So, if you already find yourself tippy-toeing on the factory seat that we've got on the ground there, this comfort seat is going to make it even more difficult for you to touch the ground on this motorcycle. I've got some shorter friends I've let try to ride this bike, and with this comfort seat on there, it is a skyjacker. It is almost the height of an adventure bike now. I think the seat height is around 33 or 33.5 inches now, so it's up there. Don't get me wrong, that is one of the trade-offs you're making, because the slope is different. You're no longer sloping downwards, so you're not as low in the seat there. And then obviously it's very, very thick, very, very cushy, so it's going to bump you up. I noticed this immediately because I had to readjust the mirrors on my motorcycle once I installed this seat. So I really felt like I was sitting up higher, and it took me a few minutes to get used to. I felt like my center of gravity was thrown off and everything like that. But after riding for a little bit, you do adjust, and it's something that you like very, very much. Now, also talking about things that I had to get used to with this seat, one of the biggest things is the fact that the seat did need to break in. When I first put this on, I was almost disappointed in the fact that the biggest discomfort of the factory seat was my inner thighs kind of right below my butt would get kind of sore after riding for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, more of extended periods of riding. So I put this seat on, and the next day I went for a very, very long ride. I did like a 300-mile day. And I started suffering the same symptoms. I started getting sore in the exact same spot as if nothing had changed with that. And I'm like, oh, wow, this sucks. I just spent, good money on this seat, and it doesn't feel any different. Well, the seat took about 500 to 1,000 miles to break in. So if you do buy one of these, Don't freak out if it doesn't feel different right away other than the height. It took, like I said, 500 to 1,000 miles to break in, and once it did, I felt a very, very nice difference with it here. I'm gonna go actually ahead right now and pick up the factory seat and kind of show you some of the differences here. So I've got the factory seat flipped upside down here. I just want to kind of show you a quick comparison. So on the factory seat, you've got kind of some cutouts where your tools and little side of the road handiwork would go. Don't worry, the Yamaha OEM Comfort Seat also has it. So you can transfer all the tools that mount underneath the seat here and go ahead and put it on the Comfort Seat. Now this is a comparison that I was looking for when I was trying to buy this seat and I wasn't sure if I wanted to or not, because I really wanted to see the differences. So obviously the where they're lined up, the stock seat is backwards a little bit more, so the distance of them isn't exactly true. But from what you can see here, it's very, very clear. So the stock seat has pretty much no backstop aside from this little curvature section here, whereas you can see the Comfort Seat pretty much has lower back support there. The other thing is you can see just how thin this is compared to the Comfort Seat with it being thick. Now, to most people, it's not really going to matter because this bike is not really a two-up bike, but if you are riding with a short distance for a passenger, the Comfort Seat is going to be much appreciated for that. Also, here is that sloping section I was talking about right near the tank. You can see this kind of comes down and swoops up, whereas underneath here on the Comfort Seat, you don't have that at all. It's a very, very flat, gradual section, whereas on this, you're downwards into the tank and it still swoops up a little bit, which I've heard on 2017 and ups, this is better than it even used to be. I guess on the 2014 through 2016 motorcycles, that slope is even more drastic, really slamming your crotch into the tank of the bike, which doesn't make anybody a happy rider after a while. So that's also something to be aware of, if you're coming from a 2014 to 2016 bike or 2017 and up. Either way, this Comfort Seat is going to be a huge difference. It's going to make the bike much more enjoyable, much more comfortable, and something you're going to be able to take longer distance rides on. Another thing I want to point out here is overall fitment. Since these pieces are a little bit thicker, it does kind of look like it fits the bike better than the way that stock seat did. However, the build quality on these bikes, being a sub $10,000 bike, isn't always the best. So something that my stock seat did, that this seat still also does, is check this out. This seat is bolted on and mounted down, and it still has, here, let me get this in focus for you. You can pick it up, shake it around, and it rattles. Obviously, once you're on the bike, all of your weight is pushing down on this, so you're fine. But just when you're not on the bike, you wonder if this is down and latched all the way. Obviously, there's only one latch holding it down in the back here. So if you can't pull it up and off there, then obviously it's mounted on the motorcycle. That being said, I do find it easier to take this seat on and off compared to the factory one back there. With the factory one, I'd really have to fiddle with the locking latch mechanism to make sure that it was fully attached to my bike. But with this one, it's really, really easy. You just pull it back once you've got the lock released here, and then when you go ahead and slip it down, make sure that you've got the tab down here by the tank lined up. Pop it down into place, and then you don't have anything to worry about. This fits with no problems whatsoever. And I would say that it fits a little bit better than the stock one as well. Obviously, you can see here, just the little black plastic screw hanging out there, but it's very, very flush with all the different body gaps on the motorcycle here, as best as it can be, at least. I guess this raises the final question. Should you, would you, could you buy this seat? I bought this seat directly through Partzilla using the Yamaha OEM part number, and it was actually a few dollars cheaper through there than it was for most Yamaha dealerships, so I do recommend finding that OEM part number. I'll try and link it in the description down below, and searching around the internet. I didn't use Partzilla because I was loyal to them or anything like that. I just simply chose them because they had some in stock and their pricing was better than most competitors that I found from competing Yamaha dealerships. So grab that part number and go into Google and search it on your own. See what you come up with as far as best for that. Now, I would recommend this. I am about 6 foot tall, and it made the riding experience on this motorcycle much more enjoyable. I can go on longer distance rides, and I don't have that same fatigue in my inner thighs. Now, that being said, it does take a little bit to break in, so you do have to get used to it. You do sit higher up. You'll have to readjust your mirrors, get comfortable with the bike once again because your center of balance is going to be different. You feel like your gravity is going to be different depending on how high up or how far down low you sit. So all that is going to be altered. Obviously, it doesn't take super long to get used to. It's still the same motorcycle. Everything you know and love about the MT-09, FZ-09, still going to be the same there. Also, a nice sweet spot for this seat compared to competitive seats is the price. This will go around $200 to $275 depending on shipping, taxes, where you find it from. Any aftermarket seats such as Corbin or I'm trying to think of some of the other ones here. Corbin's one of the big ones. Sargent's another big one there. Corbin and Sargent. Those seats are $400 or $500 depending on how you option them out, color-wise, stitching, material, and everything like that. You know, are they $200 to $300 better than this seat? I don't know. I haven't tried them. But for the small cost of entry on this seat compared to those big top dollar seats, I'm very, very happy with the overall seat of this bike. Like I said, I can't speak much for the rear pillion area just because this bike's not really meant for that. But if you do want to bring a passenger along, I do see this as being a very, very nice option. Just through the overall thickness and width of this compared to the stock seat there. Again, the slope is nice. I do really like how this isn't slamming me down into the tank. It's very, very flat and gradual there. This backrest is also awesome. However, I'm a smaller frame person and I find myself not sitting back all the way up to this. My body kind of stops about here. So if I sit kind of back here, I'm more or less stretching for the bars. So I don't use this unless I'm kind of cruising along. If I'm aggressively riding or cornering hard or anything like that, I'll find myself sitting more forwards in the seat and not up to that little backstopping section. Another thing that I've also noticed as the seat begins to wear is it's holding up very, very fine pretty much everywhere except for right here. So I've got a little spot on my left-hand inner thigh where it's starting to wrinkle a little bit here. You can see, I guess it's probably from my weight like pushing down on it, similar to that after longer rides. I haven't been on the bike in a couple of days right now, so this looks like it's as flat as it's going to be from me sitting, from not sitting on the motorcycle here. So you can see, got a little bit of crinkling going on. I don't believe that's ever going to rip or tear or anything like that. Maybe it would after like 30, 40,000 miles, but other than that, the seat does still look brand new, which is kind of a shame because, you know, that area may wear and the rest of the seat is going to look completely unused and brand new. So something to look out for. You know, obviously, I'm not sure how much testing was done, how that was supposed to hold up and everything like that, but just, you know, be aware of that as you pursue these seats. That being said, I think that's going to wrap up this video. I don't know how thorough you guys wanted me to be with it. You know, we've got factory, we've got comfort, you know, we've got them both. So I would recommend this seat. I'm going to have the part number in the description down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I wanted to, you know, share all my thoughts and feelings with you guys about this seat. This is Mike from the Focus Garage. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.